Hey, Joel, thanks for your time here. You've been through a lot of lean times in your time with the Browns. Does this feel different, or does this feel like here we go again?
No, it feels different in the sense that some of those Bear seasons, we just didn't have enough to compete, at a high level. I think every game this year, maybe minus the Patriots, we've really competed well and been there in the end. So it comes down to executing, in those big moments, and little things add up to big things, but it's those little things that you got to execute and find a way to get a win, down the stretch in some of these games.
Thank you, Jeff. Next up, Scott Patrick.
Hey, Joel. I think Jacoby was sacked 5 times. What do you think the issues with the protection were? It seemed like, especially maybe in those middle quarters where the offense struggled a little bit.
Yeah. Anytime you don't want the quarterback to get sacked, and I thought we were doing a pretty good job earlier in the season. This game, there was a couple where they zero blitzed us and we didn't have an answer for it. So they had one more guy than we could block. And that was a couple of the blitzes, a couple sacks, a couple times guys just got beat. And so there's a couple scheme ones and a couple just one-on-one matchups where a guy lost his matchup. Hopefully you can fix the scheme ones and you try not to have too many of the one-on-one ones.
When you look at you got off to such a good start offensively, and then at the end, obviously had those couple of drives. What did you think the biggest issues were during that lull in between?
Yeah, we had the one drive where we backed up and, Patrick Queen ran through a couple times and made some plays. And I think that, really threw us off. I think we had like 3 or 4 punts, in that little stretch there. And it just wasn't our game when you get behind the sticks. For us, it's really tough to, be able to run the ball, be able to keep going on those things. And he made a couple good plays on that. And that threw us behind. And I think that threw us off of our, what run game on 1st and 10 a little bit. Second half, we got back into it, on a couple of those drives and we were feeling a lot better about ourselves. We kind of, picked that up a little bit better.
Thanks.
Thanks, Scott. Mary Kay Cabot, you're up.
Yeah, Joel, just wondering, do you feel there's a realistic chance for you guys to get this thing turned around and go on some kind of a run and stay in contention and keep this thing rolling along?
Yeah, I do. I just really do have faith in the people in the building, top down. I really do have faith in those guys, have faith in my teammates. And, I know there's a win out there for us and you get one win and it can turn to 2. And you see teams that, recently, I think maybe the Eagles have done it. The Titans have done it where they've been, not great early in the season. And I think the Colts maybe even, the Dolphins won like 8 or 9 in a row. They didn't end up making the playoffs, I don't think. But there's been teams in recent years that have turned it around. And I think we have the right guys to do that.
Okay. And do you feel like, even with Deshaun coming back for the final 6 games, if you guys can just stay relevant until then, anything can happen after that, right?
Yeah. I think for us right now is just trying to find a way to get one win, and then we'll see where we're at after this bye week. But hopefully we can just come together and, execute and do the little things this week to try and beat Cincinnati.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Mary Kay. Mother right now, go ahead.
Yeah, Joel, just wondering, what was the mood like on the way home? Do you think that, I'm just, curious as to, I'm sure everyone was disappointed, but another close game, just feel like you're knocking on the door every week.
Yeah. There's frustration for sure. And there's, guys want to win. I think that's the thing about this team is like we have competitors, we have people that want to win games. And so there's definitely frustration. You don't really feel it on the plane per se. Guys are talking, some guys watch the game, some guys listen to music. It's pretty somber after a loss most of the time anyway. But you can tell there's frustration, but there's an effort. Guys want to try and fix it and want to try and turn this thing around.
And just wondering, how do you, without Wyatt, do you think that contributed to some of your issues and some of those, in that rough stretch for the line?
Yeah, Wyatt's a great player. So anytime you're missing out on a great player, it's it's tough. But I thought Yelda came in and especially in the run game really battled well. Had some great pulls. Had some really good things that he did well. Like everybody had one or two things that he wants to have back from that game, but he really played well. But no, I mean, anytime you lose a guy like Wyatt, he's a Pro Bowl guy, so that's someone you want to have out there when you can.
Thanks, Marla. Back to Mary Kay.
Yeah, Joel, it looks like David Njoku suffered a high ankle sprain. That's what the MRI showed today, and he'll be out, likely multiple weeks. Just wondering, you've watched him from the start. What kind of season do you think he was having, and how have you watched him kind of grow and develop over these years?
Yeah, I think he was having probably his best year yet. I think the stats kind of back that up. And then you watch him in the run game and he's done some really, really solid things. But, he came into us and I don't think he was even 21 yet. He was a 20-year-old kid and he, had a lot to grow as a person and as a player. And he'll tell you that, but he's really taken strides and, he was one of our key parts of our offense. So obviously if he, misses any time, it's going to be, another position where guys need to step up for us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary Kay. Scott Petrick, go ahead.
Hey, Joel, I wanted to ask you about David too, but Farrell is in the concussion protocol too. So if you guys are down one or even two tight ends, how does that change schematically what you guys do when you rely so heavily on the 2 and 3 tight end packages?
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Like you said, throughout the week, we have some guys on the practice squad that have gotten a lot of reps here. Miller's played for us already this year, and we have some other guys that have some experience. Michael Dunn has obviously played some big tight end for us, so I think we have options that we can still run it. And I think you saw late in the game yesterday, we were kind of in zebra personnel, 11 personnel, and we were still able to run the ball and do things. So there might be some different schematics, but I know Coach Stefanski and AVP have a plan for us, and whatever our personnel dictates, I think we'll be able to run some stuff out of it.
Thanks.
Thanks, Scott. Let's take one more from Mary Kay.
Yeah, Joel, after watching the film and after talking to Kevin today, he basically said that, Charlie did not move the ball on the false start. And we know what JC said, and we know that Michael Dunn said that he felt like he didn't move. And then, of course, on the pass interference call, those can always go either way. So my question is, do you guys feel like you really should have won this game and it was kind of snatched away from you with some of those late things, or is that just football?
Unfortunately, it's part of football. It's an imperfect, science reffing games. Like you said, the Amari's a 50-50 call most of the time. And then, if we make the field goal, we still have to go to overtime and play against some in overtime there, or they had some time left too to go down and score, I think. So it was one of those things where it definitely didn't help us, but we still could have found other ways to get a win.